This is my aquaponics system. I've got a number of beds. I've got a wicking bed, which isn't doing terribly well at the moment. Still got to get that working properly. I don't know why things don't thrive as well as they do. The soil's damp but not overly wet. Have to sort that one out. At the moment I've got 3 grow beds, media beds set up. And a set of strawberry towers. Strawberry towers I have to sort out again. When you make the indents, I get a lot of moisture running down the side. I don't know if you can see this, but there's basically from that corner there where you indent it, just all the water comes down and half of it seems to go down the outside. And there are some strawberries starting to grow, but because that water is constantly going down the outside, a lot of the strawberries tend to get too much water. This is really my herb bed beside it. Basil and sorrel, dill, marjoram, basil, sage, so on. Chives and mint. Mint's not really meant to be in here. I put it in here temporarily. Haven't even taken it out of its it's actually still in its container, but it's taken over. The intention is to actually have its own little tiny bed, just dedicated to the mint. There's a reasonable amount of mint. Lettuces have gone off a bit. It's been fairly hot, so they've just bolted. You still use them, but need to replant. This bed has some strawberries and some parsley. Chilies don't seem to be doing so well. I actually relocated my capsicums into the grow bed, into the wicking bed, because they weren't doing very well at all, and they're still not. I don't think they like the relocation. They may come back though. I might have to do the same for the chili, or start over with the chili in the wicking bed. Tomatoes doing very well. That one I planted as a seedling. The one over here in the corner is actually grown from a tomato that fell off one of my previous beds. It's just grown up. In fact, on this sump, there's another one that's decided to grow. So just in terms of the fish area, I've got my sump here with the one pump. It's basically got a feedback coming back from these grow beds over here. It's all underground, sort of buried the pipework, so it's got the feed pipes for the water going in, and then it's got a stormwater drain that they all drain into. It comes back into the sump. Also on that side over there is a return from the fish tanks, which I'll show in a second. Everything's run off this one 6,000 litre per hour pump in the sump. I found with the sump that it kept, because I have so many beds, this sump wasn't quite big enough, so I actually rigged up a pipe that goes through over to here into basically just a green wheelie bin, and just provides an extra couple of 100 litres. At the moment my air pump's sitting on top of it, but I need to sort of sort out my electricals fairly soon. So sitting on top of the sump is one of my starter beds for deep water floating raft. I've got it sort of just open at the moment. I'm still waiting. I've ordered some polystyrene sheets, 50mm polystyrene sheets, but they've taken over a week. Hopefully I'll get them today. I can cut them off, because right now I'm getting a whole bunch of rubbish plus a bunch of algae, because it's effectively exposed to the sun. So that one's sitting on top of that stump. Well, actually what I'll show is the pump basically pumps the water up into this main fish tank here, which is a 1,000 litre fish tank. comes into the tank here, and then I've got my overflow drain sitting there, so it drains down, and I've made up this radial filter which is busy operating at the moment. So the water is coming up from in there, bubbling up. It's basically a drum inside a red drum inside of the blue drum. The bottom of the red drum is cut out, and then the water eventually filters through and goes out this drain. So that's the radial filter. It then goes from the radial filter into my media filter, or the filter media filter, which I've just got set up today. It's part of the reason why I've just got a bunch of crap in the water at the moment. But I got this Matla media filter, and I've sort of just made this out of another box, storage box, where the water comes in at this end, goes through two different densities of the Matla, and then out the drain at the other end. Once the Matla sort of gets going and has sort of some of the rubbish caught up in it, and start sort of a degree of biological filtration as well. Unfortunately, to hold the media in place, I siliconed some angle onto the box, but in trying to get the media in, some of the angles sort of come loose from the side. Unfortunately, silicone isn't the best adhesive. So I was trying to use aquarium silicone so that I didn't poison my fish. So yeah, well, anyway, it's sitting in there all right at the moment. So it basically goes through those three different levels of physical filtration. After that, it passes out the pipe. I've got a separate pipe that I sort of set up, one to drain, and secondly to basically provide me a bypass if I don't want to, if I want to slow down the water that goes to the deep water beds. That pipe goes round and goes to the other deep water bed that I've set up, the first one. So it comes in there, goes through and out the air. This deep water bed is sitting on my second fish tank, which is about 500 or 600 litres. This actually has my fish in at the moment, down there somewhere, probably all hiding at the moment. So the water comes into my deep water bed, drains out of the first bed here into the second bed, and then flows through the second bed and goes out that drain, which actually goes around the back and drains into this second fish tank. This second fish tank has again, I'll show you a drain set up there. You can see at the very back corner of the water coming. You can see the water coming in from the deep water beds, and also my air stream. It's all coming in there, and then this overflow drain drains it out, and it goes down into the sump. It just does that sort of cycle. So that's pretty much the setup. You can see the three tanks there, the top main fish tank, the middle fish tank, and the bottom one is the sump. So I've got two deep water there, three media beds at the moment, and one wicking bed. The intention is, and you can see the pipework sitting there waiting, is another media bed, which is waiting over there to be installed, and then a second wicking bed, which again is also waiting over there in the pile to be installed, but the second wicking bed will be put in there. I'm also debating whether I put some sort of a pergola roof over top of this or just leave it open. We've had a fair amount of rain lately, and that's the problem, is that when we have in the last week we probably had about 30 centimeters of rain up here in Queensland, and so if we end up with too much water, it starts changing all my levels. So debating whether I put a roof over that and maybe over the fish tank area as well. Not sure yet. Anyway, that's the aquaponics at the moment. We'll see how we go with that deep water beds once I've got them set up.